Hi guys, how's it going? So today was absolutely beautiful in Long Beach. I went for a run. It was really nice. I needed to go for a run because I feel as though I'm heading towards a quarantine 15. Um, so yeah, that was fun. And then so today, I really don't have a lot to talk about. I actually had a really awesome day. Um, so I figured I would talk about, there was this article where Liam Hemsworth was saying, the title of the article was, Liam Hemsworth forced to rethink a vegan diet after getting kidney stones. And the article was written so stupid. It's like, it didn't really, like, one of the look up any like way to prevent getting kidney stones, and one of the reasons will be eat less animal protein. But the way the article was written was that there are some vegetables that can create a chemical in your body that doesn't react well. So there are certain things like that, but it wasn't like, that wasn't the focus of the way the article was written. So it was really annoying. And so I was complaining about it to my husband, and he's like, well, do you ever think maybe he did that to get back at Miley? And I'm like, oh, I never thought about that, because Miley Cyrus is vegan. So yeah, so on that note, I figured I'd talk about the side effects of going vegan, because there are many and people don't talk about them. So for me, the biggest side effect of going vegan is being more aware of life and what's important and the way that we live and how we've been completely brainwashed to do whatever everyone else does and what the government tells us is normal and what's right, and when we don't even feel right about it ourselves, yet we do it. So it's hard to live a conscious life. It's super hard. It's super hard because you think about a lot more of the things that you do, and it becomes this like bigger thing. So like, now I'm thinking about how many plastic bags I use, or how many straws I use, things like that. What kind of makeup I buy, is it cruelty free? These are things I never thought about before. So, and another thing is too, when I first went vegan, I started this Instagram account and I had a lot of fun with it. I started learning because I lost a bet, and that's why I went vegan. And the first day I absolutely hated it, because I wanted to get my McDonald's, I wanted to get like egg and cheese biscuit, I wanted to get, because I was already vegetarian, but I couldn't, so I was angry. But then I got home the next day, because we were in Vegas, me and my husband, and I started seeing all the amazing foods that I wasn't eating. So I was actually really surprised. There were so many exciting new foods that I never ate before, and I realized that my diet was super limiting before I went vegan. But one of the absolute hardest side effects of going vegan that no one talks about is like how painful it is. If you're an animal lover, if you are someone who loves animals, you start to have more of a deeper love for them, especially when you stand outside a slaughterhouse and see how many animals are going in at one time. For me, I found a side effect to be wanting to be more involved in activism. I haven't done a whole lot, but I definitely feel an urge to be more involved in it. I'm more vocal with my family, whereas when I was vegetarian, I never like said anything to anyone. I never told them, hey, did you know this happens? Like my dad was going to town to pick up chickens, and I was like, oh, you got some new hens. I'm like, hey, did you know that all the male chicks, as soon as they're born, are thrown into a grinder alive? And he's like, oh no, I didn't know that. So like, people don't even know this stuff. So I have exposed myself to way more information. So it's really painful. And interpersonal relationships are so hard. And it's very isolating. Family dinners, like you have to kind of like sit there and hold your tongue. People have to like make a special meal for you if you're coming over for dinner, or you have to bring your own food type of thing. It's an awkward difference between other people. A lot of people feel like you're judging them, even though you're not. I used to eat meat. I don't judge anyone that still does. I think that they don't know and they haven't had the same life experiences as me. And if they had had the life experiences as I have, they probably wouldn't eat meat or consume any animal products either. One of the most upsetting things that I learned was about how, baby cows are ripped from their mothers, and the mama cows just like sit there and cry for days on end. That was one of the most disturbing things. But one thing that I found really crazy was that I felt like I had been brainwashed to think like it was normal to drink the milk of a different species. And a lot of people think that that's normal. But if you think about it, we're the only animal on the planet that drinks the milk of another species. Like it's kind of weird, right? I mean, when you think about it that way, it's gross. But everybody loves cheese. I used to love cheese. Today I was telling my husband, I was like, because we live right down the street from a Domino's, and I used to love their cheesy bread, right? So I was telling him, I don't miss like the taste of the cheese because now it feels different when I eat it, but or it would feel different if I ate it. I said, but I miss that feeling that it gave me. Like it was so good, like it brought me such joy. But I can get that same joy out of other foods. It's something that I recall enjoying. So I'm not going around judging anyone. So a lot of people will get angry with you or treat you weird. It's awkward. That's the main thing that no one talks about. That and how painful it is. I mean, I have all these animals now. Like I grew up, like in a zoo around tons, like literally in a zoo. Like my dad worked at a zoo and I went to the zoo with him and fed the animals. So I've always been around animals. I'll tell you this really cool story before I go. Oh shoot, it's already like almost 8 minutes I've been talking. When I was little, like probably like 10 years old, maybe 9 or 10, probably about 10 or 11 actually, because they were letting me go to the park. My dad worked at the zoo and I could ride my bike to the zoo from where I lived. So I would and there was a huge park attached, and I would ride my bike to the zoo in the park, and there was a little tiny lake there. And one day I found this duck at the lake, and it was completely intertwined in fishing wire. And I was devastated. And it was so bad. And I picked up the duck and I like carried it over to the zoo. And I was like, Dad, I found this duck. And I was crying. And I found out later my dad said that the duck's little foot had fallen off in his hand, like while I was right there. He tells me that the duck went to sanctuary, but I think he just tells me these things to make me feel better. But anyway, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, I'll hope to see you guys tomorrow. Whoops, sorry, I knocked my dog in the head. Bye.